Welcome back to some more armor modding in Fallout 4. Our attention will be focused on the T60 power armor today. This one is reasonably similar to the T45, but it looks a bit meatier, like it is a better and stronger version of the T45, which is true, it is stronger of course. This is the standard design of the Model A type parts. Once we switch to Model B and the rest, the design changes to this dark metallic look that is actually pretty cool. This happens to the T45 as well, and I didn't show this to you then, because I was stupid and didn't pay attention, but now I am. So basically, if you have the Model A part and you don't have any mods, or you have the lead, prism, explosive or titanium mods, your armor will look like a rusty piece of poop. If you change the model to B, or the other models, the part will get this dark metallic look. If you didn't understand what I tried to explain, then please take off your pants and watch again. You will definitely understand it then. Last time my butt got harassed regardless of me mentioning that special paints will be in a special video, so I'm gonna mention it again. Special paints will be in a special video dedicated to special paints, because they are special, and the video will be called Power Armor Special Paint Jobs. So, the military paint. It looks very cool, even though I'm not a big fan of the large white areas on the arms. I would prefer if those parts were darker, but I like the fact that there is pretty much no rust, and that makes this design look very fresh. The Vault-Tec paint actually looks pretty shit yet again. A lot of rusty patches, the blue and yellow again, no, I'm sorry, no. The winterized coating, however, looks amazing yet again. True that there is a lot of rust, I would prefer a bit less, but it still looks awesome. I think it's the eyes of the helmet. They are the same as the eyes of the T45 and I love the white paint there as well. Something about it makes it look great. Let me tell you the backstory of this armor before we mod it. This armor used to be a sentient adventurer. He specifically adventured in search for a battery. He kept searching and got obsessed with his battery. He roamed the wasteland, fought creatures, and walked through radioactive swamps, and after a long search he realized that the battery was within him, and that made him go insane, and his sentience simply perished. In order to properly reflect on this backstory, we need to give him his original parts, of course. Both the helmet and the torso went completely white due to his obsession, and that in turn increased his energy resistance against enemies. His arms have lead plating because as he searched for this battery, he handled a lot of radioactive materials, so he gained a lot of radiation resistance in his arms. Since he traveled a lot, his legs got worn out over time, but they built a certain energy resistance which gave him enough energy in return to traverse great distances every day. His helmet is the toughest, Model F, because he never really had any outer damage to it. His insanity came from within. His main goal was finding that battery, so he has the sensor array that increases perception. He has the bright headlamp, since it is the best one for searching. The torso is also Model F, since he had a lot of strength stored in it, and no enemy could do enough damage to it to even make a dent. Over time, he built up a tolerance to hits, which simply bounced back to the enemy, so he has reactive plates that reflect melee damage to the attacker. The left arm is Model C, and it has hydraulic braces. He had a lot of practice hitting motherfuckers in the face, but his left arm was always weaker than the right. The right one is Model E, a bit stronger than the left one, and it has rusty knuckles that cause bleeding damage to the enemy. His right hooks were mighty and most often very deadly. As mentioned before, his legs got quite worn out, and they are only Model A, which makes them look rusty and old. Since his adventures had him leaping over cliffs and hills and all kinds of heights, his ability to do damage when landing increased over time, so he has the explosive vent on both legs. This armor lived a very rough life when he was sentient. His carry capacity is 310, while his damage resistance is 1360, energy resistance is 1145, and radiation resistance is 1250. If you want to build this legendary battery hunter and attempt to give it back its sentience, you will need these materials. Possibly very difficult to get. I didn't even know that Fallout had asbestos as a material until now. Hits felt very powerful and the raiders were dying very quickly. After 2 waves the health was at 90%, but as more enemies spawned I felt more and more need for action points. The recharge was very slow and it was quite annoying. Fighting seemed to drain the fusion core more than the previous armors. After just 2 minutes it was at almost 50%. The 5th wave caused the defenses to start crumbling down, but the armor itself was still holding. None of the parts were very damaged. It almost survived the 5th wave, but there were too many raiders and all of them had long-range weapons. The legendary battery armor died in glorious combat. Thanks for watching as always, and I hope you enjoyed this power armor showcase. I hope you will attempt to bring sentience back to this poor armor. I'm certain that someone can do it. I believe in you, my dear beautiful bastards. I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petardia eternally touch your butt.